Hey, hello, and welcome to Digital Minds. This is a podcast from Siemens asking the essential questions about digital transformation and what it means for you. As it becomes clear that digitalization in all its forms will be more important than ever, we'll take a deep look at the skills, tools, and services all businesses and workforces that need to survive and thrive the new normal. I am Sibel Loew, and I'm part of the communications team of Siemens Digital Industries. In today's podcast, we will dive together with you into the Siemens Digital Industries business and explore why it is the technology leader in industrial automation and digitalization. I am very happy to be joined today by Andreas Geiss and Magnus Edholm, where we will uncover some of the coolest products and services that are the heart of our organization and which are having a huge impact on the world around us. So welcome, Andreas.
Hello, Sibel.
And also welcome, Magnus.
Hi there.
Andreas, you are currently head of Digital Enterprise, which is an organization within Siemens Digital Industries. And funny, I was browsing up through your LinkedIn account prior to this podcast and found something very interesting about you, that you've been in China for a few years. Would you mind sharing briefly how your career at Siemens started, how you ended up in China, and also about your current role in the organization right now?
Sure, Sibel. Happy to do so. So I'm 17 years within Siemens, and to be honest, it has been an amazing journey. I was joining Siemens through an acquisition, and right after that, I was then taking over a new role in China, and that was really a fundamental new experience, a new culture, of course, different mindset, and of course, a new journey, a new responsibility within the automation business to run and work closely with customers. But to be honest, that was a very interesting time where I made a lot of friendships, and we have been moving and beating our expectation plan in winning new business at that point in time. And that's really great. And I have also to admit, those friendships go beyond business. They are still up and running. And afterwards, I was a little bit diving into the software business for our Siemens industrial software space before I took then over my current role and responsibility, which is at the pulse of the time, digital transformation.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Andreas. And Magnus, you are currently head of marketing in Andreas' organization.
I actually came to Germany in 1999 and started working pretty similar to Andreas in a small software company that got acquired by Siemens 2007. And in that previous role, I was what we call an application engineer, which means that I was traveling the world doing demonstrations for visualization software, ergonomics software, because my background is from what is called integrated product development. It's a combination of machine building and industrial design. So we kind of got an education in order to be the communication interface between design and manufacturing, and actually suits me very well in my current role to get that wide understanding about the design processes and also the manufacturing processes.
Amazing. Well, I guess it's very interesting to hear your backgrounds and to understand the whole situation around that and how you ended up at Digital Industries. So we already mentioned Siemens Digital Industries a few times, and I would like to go a step back and start off with what Siemens Digital Industries is at all. So what do we stand for? What is it? What we're doing? What is our business? How important is it for the industry? Andreas, so who are Siemens Digital Industries at all? What are we talking here about?
So Siemens Digital Industries, let me first start with our purpose claim. We create sustainable industrial innovation for a world we want to live in today and tomorrow. So within Siemens Digital Industries, we provide products, automation products, services, industrial software, and of course, everything you require for a digital transformation process for companies in various industry verticals.
Thank you so much. Well, you are in the part of Digital Industries or Digital Enterprise, and Digital Enterprise Services is a part of the organization. Would you mind sharing some information about the services in the overall organization?
Sure. The sub-organization I work now for example, Digital Enterprise Services, approaches any digitalization in a very holistic way, meaning we consult, implement, and optimize along the life cycle of the customer from the beginning and over all the necessary steps, comprising solutions of software and hardware to drive digital transformation, and of course optimizing once we have something installed and up and running with cutting edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, for instance. And also within digital industry services, it's of course a new place which is creating impact at the forefront of our customers, and that is really an exciting place to be.
It feels like that the business you're talking about is not only classical services. So is there more than that, I guess?
Indeed, the term service is not necessarily associated at the beginning of any digital transformation. Very true. But that's the interesting part here. Digital enterprise services is taking the term service in an industrial environment to the next level, mastering the digital transformation of our industrial customers. A major part of the change is the people, of course, the digital skills and the profiles which go beyond the typical service profile. In order to keep our promise towards our customers to drive innovation, digital transformation, we also have to make sure to have the right people and competencies on board. So it's not only about traditional services such as repair or spare parts, it is so much more. And that's why we say service is more than you think. And it's important, Sibel, that our people have this growth mindset. We are working in a fast changing industry, being curious, driven by an innovative mindset, and having passion of solutions and techs are all things we look in when hiring people for our new service environment. And let me also mention that all around data is infinite, but resources are finite. And this underlines once more why people are so important for our business.
Well, I understand that digitalization has a huge impact, not only on our personal lives, we all know it, and not only on the industries we work in, but also, as you just mentioned, on the profiles we need in the business to drive certain innovations, certain developments. What do you think, Magnus? Is there anything from your experience you can add on here?
Yes, I hope so. And I totally agree with what Andreas said. And I think it's important to understand that we are already in this era of digitalization, and it moves extremely fast, much faster than we actually think. And for that reason, it's extremely important to have the right people on board with the right mindset, think outside the box, and actually try to drive innovation. And in the current stage where we are in now, the COVID-19 situation, I think also we as Siemens are working extremely hard to drive innovation and make it actually better for companies and ourselves in the industry out there. The industry-wide topic, which is certainly not something that's unique to Siemens, what Andreas talked about. But I am convinced, and I think it goes for all of us, that the offering that we have, including software, hardware, and of course also very skilled people in digital enterprise services, is something that makes us truly unique on the market. We also do not only provide software and hardware. We actually build products. We are a product manufacturer, and one can say that we actually drink our own champagne in many ways. We use our own software, we use our own hardware in the development and production of our products. And if you look at the career perspective, I would strongly suggest anyone to actually look for a job in Siemens, because it has brought me a lot of happiness and joy, obviously also long hours from time to time. But the company is such extremely wide, and it offers so many opportunities, no matter who you are. It's more or less up to you where you want to go and explore your career possibilities. And one of the things that I think is important is the mindset. Again, it comes back to the mindset. How do you want to change the world we live in, and how can we support that in our work? And our palette of people in the company is extremely wide. Andreas talked about the consulting, implementation, optimization phase, meaning you have the traditional mechanical engineers, you have automation specialists, and also extremely important nowadays, since I tried to quote what you just said, Andreas. If I get it wrong, correct me, but material is finite, but data is infinite, meaning that data is probably the new gold, and being able to work with data and use that for optimization of all types of processes and products, that has become essentially critical and for more or less any company. And that's something we drive very hard. So definitely a very, very big and diverse environment with people of all skills and trades.
Andreas, you gave some great information and a great overview about Digital Enterprise Services, which is an organization within the Siemens Digital Industries. So Digital Enterprise Services plays a huge role when it comes to help our customers to digitalize, to transform their companies into a digital company or factory. If you don't mind, Andreas and Magnus, would you give us some examples from your daily work and maybe some funny stories, exciting stories, projects, or customer-related stories that describe what Digital Enterprise Services does and what kind of a value we're adding in concrete terms?
Of course, Sibel. So first I have to educate myself in order to pick only the most important and amazing ones which jump into my mind. And let me maybe strive among three of those. First, with artificial intelligence, we have, for instance, automotive car suppliers whom we help in transforming their factory towards more flexibility. So to have also the possibility with a high variance in a mass production and still being efficient, producing high quality, this is what matters. And therefore, artificial intelligence plays a key role to transform that. Second, when it comes to food and beverage, how important is it in our everyday life that we would like to make sure to buy those food products which describe the quality, that this is also delivered once we have it on our plate. And that is driving a project called Trust Chain, that we ensure that the product quality from farm to fork is really that what a food supplier and of course we as the consumers want to have. So that's trust chain, blockchain technology, what we put in place in order to make this sure. And thirdly, it's about optimization in every factory, in every manufacturing and operation place of the world when it comes to an efficient flow of material, goods, so back and so forth, with, for instance, location intelligence. Because you would like to know how you can optimize and run your factory in a very efficient way when complexity is increasing. And we believe that you can't limit complexity. You need to manage complexity in a very smart way. And therefore, topics like location intelligence are helping manufacturers to keep that balance and manage complexity as being the nose length ahead of their competition.
Awesome, thank you. Magnus, do you have some stories?
Yeah, first of all, I have to go back to what Andreas said, from farm to fork. I mean, that's truly, truly interesting that essentially if you're having an ice cream this summer, it should be possible more or less to know which cow actually produced that milk. That's what this the traceability solution actually offers to us. And I also like to add, perhaps on a more back to the basic point of view, services is definitely not just spare parts. People think that. But if we look at the food and beverage example that Andreas mentioned, services is also something that can also support in the product development. For example, if you take farm to fork example again, say we're filling up something in bottles, milk bottles, and also here's something we have had tremendous effects and successes in many companies where we, for example, been able to reduce the weight of a bottle with say 20%. It doesn't say that much if you think about one bottle, but if you put it in a scope where you have producing millions of bottles, it is huge. So less material required, obviously good for sustainability, and there's a lot of other things where we have been working. And there are also obviously areas where our technology is being put to use, such as artificial intelligence, extremely important nowadays, where we are able to support companies in their quality check process. Instead of checking every part that's being produced, we can use those very cool algorithms and pinpoint the parts we think are the ones we need to check for quality. And this obviously speeds up production immensely and also offers this high quality product output, which is so important for companies nowadays.
Thank you. Magnus, I know you are currently reading a very, very exciting book that summarizes, I guess you summarized it a few times in some of our previous calls, wonderfully what kind of an environment we are currently living in, and also what kind of an impact it has on our digitalization business. So, as far as I remember, the title of the book was "The Future is Faster Than You Think."
Correct.
Would you mind telling us about the book and what kind of a connection it has to your current work?
Absolutely. And I read a lot of books, and I've been pushing this book to many of my colleagues, and they actually think I'm on the payroll for that book company. So it's not the case. But it's true. It's called The Future is Faster Than You Think, and it's written by Diamandis and Kotler. Those are the authors of it. And the book is extremely interesting because it takes a leap forward, and it shows how the world quite likely will change in regards to how we go from one point to the other, and also how innovative technology can be of support. There's actually a very nice use case, and in this book, it's about a drone being used in Africa. And it actually comes down to the fact that we as Siemens Industry are actually very much involved in that project, in the sense that they are working with our software. But that's not that important right now. The cool thing is that in Africa, the roads are obviously not that good all the time, but people are still in need of support, help, blood, for example. And it shows how this drone can be sent out to a village that requires some kind of medical attention, flies over the village and drops a parachute with blood or medication. And that's, I think, is to me a fantastic way of tackle a challenge, like a very, very difficult challenge. You could not go there on a car in the time required, and therefore technology comes into play. And there's so many other things in this book that's just fantastic. So I can strongly suggest the listeners to read it. It's obviously also nice to end the day with a book instead of looking at your iPhone or phone. That's
very well said.
Thank you, Magnus. I believe all the stories and topics and examples you two mentioned are proving actually the fact that the service is literally more than we have thought, or maybe more than a lot of people out there think. I'd like to catch up on one more topic here. Well, basically, digitalization is given and necessary for our future. It's important for our future, customers' future and success. Are there any innovations you are excited about? What are the biggest innovations you are excited about? Which ones are driving our solutions on the market?
Okay, if I may start, one thing that I find extremely cool and exciting, and I sometimes refer to it as being the coolest thing since sliced bread was invented, and that would be additive manufacturing, how we are able to print in steel and polymers and literally build anything on one machine. And I'm a huge fan of this, perhaps since I also started off once at a time with a CAD, CAM, CNC process chain. Perhaps some of you don't know what it is, but it's basically designing a part, putting it on a milling, drilling machine, and producing it. So it's a very, very cool thing. And now this additive manufacturing, look into it, people. It is extremely cool. I like it very much.
Nice. Andreas, from your opinion, what's the biggest innovation solution we are driving here?
I think even more cool is when it comes to artificial intelligence. Want to know more? Well, artificial intelligence is dealing, of course, with the infinite amount of data, and you can't consume data in order to make anything better without having technology. And when it comes to technology, it's of course about the AI algorithms itself. But in order to put AI at work, you need, of course, as well edge runtimes in order to have an environment where all that sheer and vast amount of data is being analyzed in order to come out with outcomes, with clear results, who help you to do better informed decisions. And those can, of course, amplify anything in a factory, be it more flexibility, be it higher quality, be it more efficient, be it putting down manufacturing costs, you name it. It's a vast majority of all important drivers, what we are helping our customers to build out. And therefore, artificial intelligence and everything tied around here makes us really unique. And this is also looking at quite some new profiles, which we desperately require in our company, because data scientists and stewards, engineers, domain experts, all those play a key and vital role in order to make that happen.
Well, I have to admit, both of your examples, additive manufacturing as well as artificial intelligence, both are really pretty cool innovations, I guess, which bring us a step forward. Fantastic. It's been a really interesting and fun conversation, I find, with you two. And I got one last question. In one sentence, what would you like the audience to take away from this podcast?
Oh, that's a challenge, first of all, Sibel, in one sentence. But to me, it would be take advantage of the opportunities that Siemens are actually offering to their employees. It's a huge company, many opportunities. Like what I've done, I've been doing the application engineering, the demo parts. I've been doing consulting. I've been doing marketing. And I would say I've tried to explore different areas of Siemens. And I strongly suggest all of you out there do the same thing. That was obviously more than one sentence. I apologize.
That's okay. That's okay. It was great. Thank you. What about you, Andreas?
Well, for me, it's digitalization is not only part of the future, Sibel. It shapes it. As digital enterprise services playing an essential role in it means having an impact on everything what comes with it. Innovations, customer journeys, and career profiles. This is what matters.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I very much enjoyed this session. And as you both said, captured from different perspectives, the industrial digitalization is ours to make shine by thinking forward, providing the digital solutions, realizing the digital transformation for our customers, and by having the right people on board, and also by giving them the platform within the Digital Enterprise Services organization to never stop coming up with innovative ideas. Well, if you, dear audience, wish to hear more from our digital minds at Siemens, please visit siemens.com/careers/digital minds. Well, thank you, Andreas and Magnus.
Thanks for having us, Sibel.
Thank you, Sibel. Thank you, Andreas.
And thank you out there for listening to today's Digital Minds episode. And stay tuned. Of course, there is more to come, so don't miss out the next episode and find out about our colleagues from Siemens Financial Services who are creating great experience, amazing experience when it comes to their digital transformation as well. So take care and have a wonderful day.